What can we as adults learn if we spend more time listening to young people and empowering them to lead in ways that inspire and build the next generation of leaders? In this episode, I'm joined by Anthony, Mel, and Sharif from the 1Brotherhood podcast and youth led organization, where leadership is built through community and passed from one generation to the next. Each of them represents a different point of that journey. Anthony, who co founded the organization as a teen and now serves as a senior mentor, Mel, a recent graduate stepping into his new mentorship leadership role, and Sharif, one of the young leaders preparing to carry that mission forward as the new incoming 1Brotherhood president. Today, they share how creating space for young people to lead isn't about adults stepping aside, it's about adults stepping in as collaborators. By listening, building trust, and expanding access to opportunities, we allow young people to build the skills and confidence to lead their peers and strengthen the bonds between them. We talk about the power of community, how developing new mentors helps bridge the gaps between generations, and why empowering youth to lead doesn't stop with one person. It creates a ripple effect that inspires the next generation to step forward. Because when we let young people take the lead, they don't just grow as individuals, they help create the leaders who come after them. Let's get into it. We're meeting with real leaders shaping a healthier future for our young people. We dig into what motivates them and how their work makes a difference. I'm CJ Sturmer, and this is the Champions for Youth podcast. Gentlemen, Anthony, Sharif, Mel, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
So you three are with this incredible organization called 1Brotherhood, which has a really fascinating origin story. I want to learn about the organization. Before we jump into that, I want to learn a little bit more about you and why something like this was important for you all, especially as young people and adults working together in such a powering mentor leadership type of organization. Anthony, I'll start with you. As one of the founders of the organization, why was something like this so important to you to start to begin with?
I always grew up with community being a priority for me. I feel like community builds more empowered individuals to find success within themselves. So really the brotherhood was just a way where we can all come together and build something that's positive for our community.
That's incredible, especially as an adult seeing the value now of having something for young people, especially when you were younger, wanting something as a young person. I think that that's really, really cool that you've been able to now take this journey so far to help more younger people and pay that forward mentality. So Mel, you are someone that's been with the organization for a minute, and now you're transitioning into one of the adult leaders of the group. Tell me a little bit more about that. What motivated you to join this organization? Why was it so important?
It was very important for me to really be a part of a group like this coming from Maryland. That's where I grew up. That's where I live. That's where I'm from. That's me. And then coming to this new space in Virginia where I knew a couple of the guys, ironically, from when we were little kids playing Little League football together, me and most of the founding members, till I got here back in high school as a sophomore, and I kind of felt alone. I didn't know anybody really until I reunited with the guys and we just were hanging out. And then I started hearing about them talk about this group, the 1Brotherhood, and I just I didn't know what that meant. But of course I was open to it because it was a group of guys that I knew. So I felt comfortable to come and join their space. And they invited me into that space to make that space my own. And I just bought into their drive, their passion, their purpose to gain that narrative and make their narrative my own. And it just gave me a reason to want to stay here, or gave me a reason to want to drive their purpose in a way, if you get where I'm going with it.
Yeah, it was a part of the journey. It was a journey of being a part of something. You saw value in that even before it even got started. That's really cool. I like that. Sharif, as one of the newer members that's a part of the larger group here, why was this so important? What about it for you was so motivating?
For me, the first thing that made me notice that the brotherhood was actually a good thing for people was walking around school and seeing my friends that I've known since I was a kid, and like seeing them walk around school and like holding their head. Like I've never seen them in this light before, of like I'm seeing them doing things that I know is going to better them for their future. And I know they're doing like, they're making smart choices because they're thinking about their future. And I'm asking them where they learned this from. And every time everything came back to the brotherhood and just having people that they know that they can like rely on. If they need help, they could call their brothers, they could call people and ask for help about things that, they need for their future. And so hearing that was something for me where I was just like, I need this too. So then I joined and then kept getting opportunity after opportunity with the group. And I have brothers now that, like I said, I could rely on. So like, it was definitely good for me just knowing that I have these people that are older than me, younger than me, and just we all help each other out with different things.
That's really cool. The thing that I'm hearing that's a common story, even though that all three of you have different origin stories of why this was important to you, is the fact that it was all community based and it was all needing other people around you that wanted like-minded ideas, that wanted this leadership. And I think that's important for a lot of people to hear, is that, Anthony, for you, there was something missing and I knew that I needed to create it. Mel, it was, I was new to this area. I saw this group of people. I wanted to be a part of something so that I had my own community that I could be a part of. And then Sharif, I hear from you that you had these examples of all these really cool people that you know for years doing this thing that you wanted to be a part of because you saw value in what we're doing. And I think it's really cool that it all is the same story, is this sense of community and how important that value has in people's life. I think that's really cool and something that important that I think young people and adults can relate to, but should also be aware of, that it doesn't matter what age, there is a value in community of people that want the same things. And I think that needs to be highlighted here. And so I'm interested to hear, what is it that each of you are doing for the organization to showcase this evolution of leadership? And Sharif, I'd like to start with you. What has it been like coming in as one of the newest youth leaders into the organization?
Well, all right. So like right now, I got news not that long ago that I'm going to be the next president for the Brotherhood. But right now, I feel like a part of the group, getting a lot of examples from my older, my mentors and, my founder, Anthony, just getting examples of how I can help the younger people that we're going to be bringing in next year and the years after that.
And then Anthony, as one of the founders and one of the forward front adult leaders, what is 1Brotherhood? Why was it started?
So the beginning origins of 1Brotherhood starts with, before the Brotherhood was even thought of, it starts with Lazarus Ministries, a nonprofit that my grandfather founded years ago. And it's really just rooted in using community to create positive individuals and leaders that can go out and change their own communities and change their own outcomes. And so Lazarus started really one day after a college visit with me and some of my friends, and we were just talking in the car with my mother about how can we help her agenda to create a better community, and voicing our opinions of how we felt youth can be leaders in their own communities without needing help from adults, but having adults as support, but letting the youth be the lead. So 1Brotherhood was me and some of my friends coming together and taking that first step to be the leaders that we needed for the guys behind us. So it meant community service. It meant exposing the younger guys to opportunities that we have had, like college visits, going to a football game, things like that can have a lot of impact on the young guys. 1Brotherhood Empowered is really bettering our community one young leader at a time, and just give them the empowerment to be leaders who can change their community for the better.
I like that you said empowerment. I think that that's a really powerful word that should be highlighted. We talk a lot about that on the Champions for Youth podcast as well, that youth empowerment is how we get things done. It can't be adults doing things for youth. Like, it just doesn't work. And so I like that you all have that same mentality of youth empowerment and giving them the opportunity to lead. And that's our role, right? But I think you all set a really good example of when there is this need on an individual basis, right? Anthony, you would say, this is my friends and I came together and said we wanted to do something. And you just did it, right? You didn't wait for thousands and thousands of dollars to show up. You didn't have to come up with this really elaborate program. You just wanted to get together with a group of friends and try and make a difference. And I think that as an adult, hearing that young people can take that upon themselves to do that, and then doing so simple as talking to your mom to say, I just need some help with this, and an adult being able to say, sure, what do you need? How can I help? Instead of how can I do? I think that's really powerful. And I hope that young people and adults listening understand that that partnership together has a lot of value and it doesn't take a lot of work. That's really cool, honestly.
Thank you.
Also, too, like, adults know that young people want certain things, but I don't know that, at least when I talk to some adults, they don't always understand what those needs are, and they try to take action before understanding and talking to young people, right? Mel, do you find that that's something that's common? How has the organization helped to identify what is important to young people?
I really think that it's important that the voices of the youth is heard, but not only heard, but they're given a seat at the table to be able to help make the decision. I think a lot of the times that adults want to know what the problems are, and then they hear the problems and then they want to go find a decision for themselves. No, if it's my problem, it's a problem that I'm having, why wouldn't you consult with me on how do I fix the problem? Why wouldn't you give someone like me the power to make the decision for myself? And it's not even just the straight that I need to make the decision for myself, because that's kind of what the Brotherhood does. It's not just one person is making the decision. No, one person brings a problem to the table, and then the whole table full of young guys that's all going to be suffering from this problem at one point are all coming together to help make a decision and help make the journey easier in a way. It's like if one guy went and he fell into the water. Okay, now the next guy knows, okay, I need to put a bridge here. But okay, the bridge isn't sturdy. So then the next guy comes and now we know we need to put the bridge, and then we gotta help fix the bridge, and then we're all working together to fix that one problem. That's the way I kind of look at it. That's the way the one brotherhood is in a way. And that's the way that I feel like that everyone needs to look at the outlook, that you can't just give a solution to someone. You have to be able to give the youth a chance to help make the decision for themselves.
Right. That's a really good analogy. That bridge analogy is just, it's like you can't just build a bridge and hope people get over it, right? It's kind of go into that metaphor. You all are the architects talking about what it is that you need, and you're part of the building process. Sharif, I'd love to hear from you as a newer young leader coming into the organization.
One thing I feel like a lot of people nowadays, our peers, they try to act like somebody because they think it's cool, or like, that will make them popular. So I feel like one thing like the brotherhood actually helps out with a lot is having people that you can be yourself around and not have to try to act like you're somebody that you're not.
I think something you said is super powerful, not just being this thing that we think we should be, but being this person together that we know we can be, to set an example for other young people. Anthony, I'm very curious to hear your perspective. What have you actually heard from young people?
That is a very complex question, especially dealing with youth, because I think needs, they change so often, and that's natural. As a young person, you find one day you might need a new computer, and the next day all you need is a new shoe or a new sock. So I think changes with the youth, especially with One Brotherhood, they change so often. And the role of us as adults, me and Mel as mentors, is really just to be open to those changes. So an example is with the club. Initially the guys are saying they wanted people to come in and talk and mentor them about different career paths. We tried that and they didn't like it. They wanted to be able to go on college visits and things like that. So it's our job as adults not to be stuck in our own ways to say, well, now y'all want a new different thing, but instead to collaborate with them to create better outcomes for their needs, improving that access to the things that they actually do need, and not just improving the things we think they need, but actually listening with them and collaborating.
Right. It's twofold. You're hearing that. You're seeing that. Adults just need to trust that the voice of one person or two people. And I think it's important to call out that malleability, and that needs change, right? It's not in this silo. It's a whole person that we're talking about here, and that sense of community is important, but there's also individual needs. Talk to me a little bit about the accessibility and why you hear that that's important.
A big part of why the Brotherhood has become so successful is because of the accessibility, as you mentioned, CJ. We bring this resources to the guys. We don't take the guys to the resources. Recently, we've had opportunity with Deloitte to have partners of Deloitte come in and talk to us instead of us having to go and visit them. We eliminate that need for transportation for the guys to get that valuable resource. Also, accessibility in the way that we provide them new, different opportunities. So a lot of the guys before joining the Brotherhood had never been to a basketball game at the Capital One Center or been to a supervisor's office that makes political decisions where they're from. So I think improving their accessibility in a way that feels comfortable for them. I think a lot of times in community service, people have their thing that they think that youth should get, instead of seeing what they need and changing our ways that we're giving them that access to cater to them.
Right. It's very meet them where they are. It's not just building it and they will come, but we need to go where it's easiest for young people to actually participate. Anthony, do you all go to the schools? Where is it the organization actually meets?
Oh, yes, that's another good thing that we have done recently is we brought One Brotherhood into Mount Vernon High School. Over the summer, a lot of the guys were saying due to them having younger siblings or having jobs that they need to work to support their families, they can't make it to the meetings on the Sunday nights where we have those brotherhood talks. So me and Mel met with the principal at Mount Vernon High School to say, how can we meet this need, what we have and what you have? We came together to create a club at Mount Vernon where we have those brotherhood talks, where we go on college visits with the guys at the school that may not be able to have that same privilege to meet with us on the Sunday nights. So that was a very intentional way of how we were able to improve accessibility for the young men in our neighborhood to, benefit from the resources that the Brotherhood has for them.
Game changer. When you all moved that into the high schools or made that easy accessible, did more people show up?
Kids come up to me in my shirt and be like, oh yeah, I seen that club at my school. I went to there. I had fun. They had the snacks, the chips.
The snacks.
Yeah. That's a big part of what we do at the school. The snacks gotta have the right chips. Yeah, I've seen the brotherhood grow fast over the past couple of months just with us being inside the school and people being able to get that while they're at school.
Definitely. I'll build off of it. It's been extremely heartwarming for me to see that sometimes that I'm at the meetings and the first meeting, it was like 15 guys. I remember Sharif was there. It was like 15 guys. And I was like, okay, like it's just the first meeting. Let's see how it goes. And the very next meeting we show up and it's 50 guys. And I'm like, this is crazy to think I was just in high school. Like I just graduated and I know what you could be doing on your free period. You could be anywhere. And to see 50 guys just show up and dedicate their time to come and listen to me, talk to them about a lesson about discipline, and see them not just hear the message and just hang out. They're actually receiving it and they're showing it and they're writing it down in reflections. And it's a good outcome of people. It's not just a couple of guys that we see every week. No, it's kids that I've never met in my life that now they come every week. They look forward to hearing the message and they look forward to having that safe space. Like, you know, when you're in school, you hear all the time, you can't laugh. Don't talk in class. Be quiet. Don't be
Right.
laughing around. Don't be joking around. You come to the One Brotherhood Club, you can laugh. You can joke. We laugh. We joke. We play around. We have fun because it's not always just about being stern and just being a drill sergeant. No, let's be actual caretakers to the kids. Let's actually help the youth. And it's just heartwarming to see the outcome that we get every week when we go to do the One Brotherhood Club.
Yeah. 50 is not a small number. Going from 15 to 50 is a massive jump. That is amazing. And congrats on that success. That's kind of a big deal. And then to have people that you've never met, for these young people to see value in that community, just like you all did, and to continue to see that growth, like that's huge. That's a big deal. And then having the right chips, that's also a big deal, right? Like we don't want those crappy chips. You better bring us the good chips. I ain't coming without the good chips. Sharif, what about from you? How has it felt then being able to have that so accessible and it to be so close to the community that you're already participating in?
For me, it really opened my eyes when I would walk around the school and like Anthony said, like people know that I'm in the brotherhood group and people will walk up to me and I had people ask me when's the next out of school meeting because they've attended the in-school meetings and they like it enough to the point where they want to actually be a part of the brotherhood and also want to get these opportunities and better the community and better themselves. People that didn't come to the first meeting and then came to the second one after we started getting more outreach, like, I mean, I know what they doing. Like, you know, you're in school, you got a free period out of all the classes where you have to, you know, do all your work, write down notes and stuff. You finally have a free period. You know, people be going around, they could go walk around with their friends, go to a classroom and just chill. But, you know, they came to the brotherhood meeting and they actually received the lesson, received the message. And now, you know, they're going out to the world where they can actually use what they learned to better themselves.
That's huge that you set that example. I think for young people listening, I think that's really powerful to see that there's this domino, this ripple effect that you're having in the community at your own school of younger people seeing the value of their friends and their peers. And like you said, Mel, people don't even know. You know, that they see the value of this group and this community that's coming together. I think that that's huge, and that you all are setting that example is powerful. And I think for adults listening, it's really important to hear that when you create that opportunity, the ball will roll down that hill. Like, let these young people be the example for their peers and don't be the example for the young people. Help them be that example. I think that's a really incredible way to showcase how important and how effective that is, right? Like, it's not just it might happen. Like, you guys are an example. Like, no, it's happening. Like, it works.
And also, just to talk to the adults, it just shows the level of trust that Principal Dimick gives to us, the level of trust that Coach Webb, Coach Brea Patnett, Miss Yolanda, the trust they given to us, me and Ant, just to be able to come. And we're not 30, we're not 25, we're not even 21. We're still young guys, we're still kids, and they're putting their trust in us to be able to come back and deliver the message to guys that's around our age. That some guys, you know, you're not gonna, when you're a teenager, you don't want to hear another teenage guy talking to you, telling you what to do. But we're not telling them what to do. We're having a talk, we're having a heart to heart, we're building, we're learning together. The same way that I had to learn the lesson plan to teach discipline, I have to practice it to be an example. And then I go talk to Sharif and I go talk to the other young guys, and I'm not just telling them, yeah, you have to be disciplined. No, you make mistakes. You don't always pick it right up. No, you have to learn it. I'm showing you. I've come in, like, I know Sharif, I know you remember the first meeting. I came straight from work. That took discipline. Yeah, I could tell you to do discipline, but this is discipline. You get straight off of work and you have a duty, you have an honor to uphold. I told you guys I'll be here, I'm here. And I show that every week. It puts a smile on my face to be able to see the guys like Sharif. Every time I come in, and I don't know if he feel it, but I'm gonna let him know right now. Every time I come in, they get excited to see me. Yo, Mel, what's up? It makes me happy. It makes me like, okay, this is what I come for. I don't come because I want to get recognized. No, I come because look at the guys being happy that they have a mentor. They have an older brother that's showing up for them every week, no matter what the circumstance is, to be able to be there. And it just takes for a little bit of trust from the adults to put it into the hands of the young guys like me and these
Right.
other young guys. It's young girls, young people out here who can do exactly what we're doing. You just give them a little bit of trust. You put your trust and your belief into them, you'll be surprised at the results you'll get.
I love that you said that you're seeing the value in your own self. You're seeing your own growth and that you want to grow on your own without somebody telling you to or creating an opportunity for you to grow. Like that discipline that you talk about, that you want that and you're creating it for yourself and you're creating your own momentum to then want to do that. And then for you to sit here in front of all of us and say that you love seeing other young guys and other young community members feel that same thing and you being able to witness that, that's huge. I love hearing that. That's really powerful stuff. Sharif, how does it feel hearing Mel talk about that and for him to witness the growth and how proud he is of you?
I mean, it feels good. You know, I get to see my brother walk into my school, the I-10 that he graduated from. And I see him walk every day. You know, I go say what's up to him. I know he's about to come in. He's going to give us a lesson, a good life lesson. And, you know, like we've all grown a lot since the first day I came. You know, even since I first joined, like Mel's been in this group, but he's still growing and I'm still growing. Everybody's growing in the brotherhood because it's a lot of hope from everybody, all your brothers. Everybody's helping each other. Everybody working together. Yeah.
You said it best. It feels good when someone shows up for me, not just adults, but for my own young people and people my age showing up and making me feel good and seeing value in that. That's huge. So I just recently did another episode with someone that talked about the importance of, as adults, if we're going to go to a school or go to a community, say we're going to do something, that you need to fulfill that. You can't just say you're going to show up because these schools and other communities have been burned before because they just want to come in and do something and they don't actually show up. Anthony, how was it building that trust? What did you have to do to be able to come into this school to continue to build this community at the actual high school?
Me and Mel in collaboration with Mr. Dimnick, it was very intentional. So there was actually a program before ours from a local fraternity that would come in and give us those life lessons when I was at Mount Vernon High School. And when that left because of a lack of commitment, as you were saying, you know, I saw that there was a missing thing that we had to fill through the brotherhood by bringing it to Mount Vernon. So I believe that it's the intentionality with what we're doing and it's the commitment. So with the guys, with Mel and Sharif, like even though I'm at Morgan State University in Baltimore and that's far away, I still have the commitment to say, you know, at one point I was Sharif and I needed that guy who would come back from going out and be there for me in my community. Because at the end of the day, these are my brothers. Like, I'm not going to let my brother go without me. I want to see him grow. I want to be there while he grows. A big thing about the brotherhood is we hold ourselves accountable. So if I tell Sharif I'm going to bring this club to Mount Vernon, I'm going to be accountable and showing up and making sure that they got the chips if I need to donate or to make sure that their lesson plan is set up. So the way me and Mel do it now is that even though I'm not able to come back for every meeting, I set up the lesson plan for him so that it makes it easier for him to just stand and deliver with the guys and build those relationships. To answer your question fully, it's an accountability you have to have for yourself as an adult to say, I made this commitment to the guys and I'm going to fulfill that commitment no matter what.
I love that you said holding yourself accountable. Accountability is huge as adults and young people. And you're setting an example of how when you show up, Mel, you said it best. The principal sees it. He wants it more. And now 50 guys showed up to one of your meetings. That's huge. What kind of other programs do you all do in these schools?
We do a lot. I'm going to pat ourselves on the back. I know a lot. We don't like to take a lot of credit and pat ourselves, but we all need to pat ourselves. This group, we do a lot. We don't do it just in the schools. We don't do it just in the community. We do it everywhere. You'll see us at the Roy Rogers washing your car. Like we do a lot. We do a lot. And I know for me, I'm gonna highlight this because this is one of my favorite moments that we've ever had in this group. And it's the Cooks and Cuts event. We did a cookout and we did a free haircut event during the summer. It was just amazing. I don't even remember the count. Aunt, help me out. How many people was here?
We served 300 burgers and 50 hot dogs and we gave away 40 free haircuts. And it was like, I want to say 300 participants in total.
Yeah, I'm about to say it was way more people than haircuts.
Oh yeah,
because I remember I didn't even get a haircut that day.
Yeah. Oh
all
yeah.
the seats was filled up.
That's the thing. The brotherhood, we serve the community first. So I told the guys, me and Mel, we told the guys like the community gets the haircuts first before anybody in the brotherhood, because that's what we're doing. We're serving the community. So yeah, that's another thing. Like back to what you were saying, CJ. It's like the intentionality of catering to the needs of those people. Like, of course, we can get a haircut, but we know those people need that. So yeah.
And I know a couple of the guys like Reef. I don't know if a lot of the guys after that, the next day, a couple of I think Ant's barber, he actually gave the rest of the guys that didn't get a haircut, he gave us a free haircut because it was so many people. It was 300 plus people here.
That's a lot of people.
One community center. And we had a good amount of barbers, but it wasn't enough for 300 heads. It was a lot of people.
Not.
You heard how much food we gave away, and just that event in itself, just showing it just showed me how serious this community is when you give this community a chance and you give them a voice. We gave them the platform. All we provided was the food, and we provided a haircut. And you see how many people came out just because we were, like Ed said, and like you're saying, we were intentional about, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We made promo videos. We had so much fun, and it didn't feel like work because we're all just hanging out. It's all of us. We're all brothers. We're just hanging out, having fun. We're like, we want to give away haircuts. We want to give away food. We want to play basketball. Okay.
I don't know one single young person that wouldn't want to be a part of that.
I feel like you want to be a part of it. You want to be there. Like, it was just so fun. It was amazing. And that day just really showed me like, okay, if we could do this, we could do so much more. And me and Ant, we talk all the time. I gotta calm down because it's my calmness, and we just having fun. We just make stuff happen, and I'm gonna let them go because I'm getting excited. I'm gonna sit back.
To build off Mel, around that same time, we also did a 3-on-3 tournament. So same place, in the gym. We had a lot of people come out, and you can make a team before. That for me, that was actually one of the first brotherhood things that I attended. Actually, the first 3-on-3 tournament. I didn't win nothing. It's for money though.
I was gonna ask you, did you win?
It's a giveaway. It's for money. I didn't win nothing. But, like going to it, seeing all these people, like it was so many people in the gym. But one thing that stood out to me was that there was only like 2 people maybe in there that I didn't already know. Because again, these are people from my community, people that I grew up with. And then those people that I didn't know, so now I got 2 new relationships built that day. And it just shows that like the group doing this event really brought opportunity. It brought like networking between people. We did another one. That time I won. I just had to put that out there. The second time I won, got $75. And the second time I felt like was a lot more structured than the first time. So like that also shows the growth in the brotherhood because, second time we had microphones, the bleachers was set up, the games was ran on the correct courts. At the end of the day, everything was fun. And we had community come out and had everybody having fun together, building relationships with each other. And
yeah, I was going to say, not winning, that didn't matter, right? It's not that I didn't win, that you still saw a lot of value and like, yeah, you had fun, you hung out with your people. And that's really all it is learning new things, having fun. But you still came back to try to get that win. I'm still going to try to get that win.
Second time I had to come back and win. Second time.
Yeah.
And I think that event actually was the HIV and S. That was the HIV ST.
Tell me more about that.
Before we actually went in the gym to go play basketball, we had a lesson. We had people come and they talked to us about STDs. We did like a little not quiz, but it was a paper, answer some questions on it. And it really helped, because at the time we had found out that STD numbers was rising in our areas. So it was definitely good to learn about that and know how to be safe.
A little bit more background of how that came to be. These things don't happen without partnership from adults in our community supporting us and supporting our crazy dreams, as Mel said.
That trust.
That trust. So I knew somebody from Inova was looking to find a way to educate the young guys on how to be sexually safe and how to take those precautions, and then also provide free testing for the guys in our community that wasn't in a place where they might feel judged or they might feel uncomfortable. So we came together and we was like, I asked the guys, what do y'all want to do? And they're like, we like that 3v3 tournament format. I went to them at Inova and I was like, would y'all be able to give us that lesson first, provide the food, provide the prize money, teach us, but then also allow us to have fun. I think using partners to create positive outcomes is a thing that the Brotherhood has really done well at.
There are a few things in there that really stuck out to me. One, you created a fun environment that young people wanted to come to, right? We want that 3-on-3. We're control, Sharif trying to get the lick back. I'm going to make that win. And then Anthony, you talked about we could use that opportunity and what the young people said that they wanted to be able to teach them about sexual health, understanding the power of STI testing, and then actually provide an opportunity that's huge. And then another thing that you called out, we talk talk a lot about this here. And I'm glad that you said that, is that the unique partnerships. It's utilizing relationships you already had, right? You didn't just go knocking on doors like you knew somebody. It was so simple saying, hey man, could you help me out here? I want to do this thing. And the young people said they want it. Would you be willing to do it? It was that simple. Like, it wasn't this big, huge, massive effort. It was just simple asking a question. Anthony, from you, you've had the opportunity to be doing this for a while. And as a young person, again, coming into one of the adult leaders, how did you know what you were doing was making a difference?
It was really just seeing my brothers grow. So I've known Sharif since he was a freshman. I've known Mel since he was a freshman, probably too. I've known these guys since they was young, and to see them grow into leaders who, for example, in the HIV tournament, Mel's our MC, commentating the games,
I see that.
Yeah. So to see them grow into leadership roles in that way, the same way I've seen the youth grow, I've seen adults grow. So in our partnership with Inova, after our HIV tournament, they also asked, how can we collaborate to make the leaders teach their own community? So what me and Mel are currently doing is being trained as community health workers. So the next time we do the tournament, we can give that presentation ourselves instead of having somebody from Inova who's not familiar with the community. Not an awkward situation, but just make it more comfortable for the guys that somebody from their community is giving that presentation. So I've seen growth. I've seen tremendous growth from the young guys, also the partners that we have used to collaborate.
I think it's cool that you talked about adults get something out of it as well. We're growing as adults in the way that we work with young people to get better about working with young people and we see the value in working with young people for our own growth. I don't always think about that. And I like that you said that as one of my peers. There is power in that for us as well. There's two sides of that coin. It's not just, oh, well, young people get something out of it. We do too. I think that that's something that's really important to highlight. Sharif, I'd love to hear from you. How does this affect your confidence?
A lot more confidence in myself. I've learned skills like public speaking better. I'm not going to lie, before I wouldn't have even been able to do this right here, talking on this podcast, and I feel comfortable, enough to do it because of the growth that I've had with the brotherhood. It definitely helps my pride knowing I'm around these people, young Black men. We're doing a lot of good stuff for our community, So like walking around, seeing people at these events, and I'm walking around, seeing them outside now, like I know that like I helped them a certain day in their life. I made them happy. And I taught them about HIV or whatever lesson we had that day.
There's this journey that you all have together. It's not individualized. It's not young people versus adults. What do we tell the adults and the young people listening? How can we empower them to think differently and to replicate this success where both young people and adults can come together in that journey and to see value?
I think the way to get adults to do better it's trust. Like, we got to trust our young people. Because they're leaders. We were all young at one point, and we all had our own ideas, opinions, and let our youth use that energy to make positive outcomes in their community. Just having that trust, like, me personally, I trust Mel with anything. Like, I trust Mel to speak in front of the president if he had to represent the brotherhood. Just because I know what he can do, I know his potential, I know all the things that we've learned through the brotherhood and all the skills that they have gained. So I would say just trust the youth to, be their own help, because as much as adults do have greater resources, they also have the energy from the youth to be that source of empowerment for themselves. I believe that adults, they shouldn't be in a space where they feel like they're a savior, just a guide. I know we all love Miss Yolanda, my mother, and never is she trying to save us from any situation that we can't save ourselves from. So she's always just guiding us to think deeper, think harder, pushing us to. Just recently, we were in collaboration with Fairfax County Service Board Youth Prevention Coalition, where we had a photo voice project where we used our voice to advocate for changes in our community in front of policymakers and elected officials, guiding us to do the work for ourselves. So they could have easily just gave us photos for us to talk about, but instead of that, they gave us the cameras to go into our community and find what we thought was good or bad about our community and present that to the people around us. So we actually had suits because the guys had a need where they felt like they wanted a suit to feel, empowered to speak about what they need. And
you got to look sharp.
Yeah. You look good. You feel good. Dion, what Dion said, we all know that. But yeah, that little saying, it really goes into like what we did. We saw that the guys wanted suits. We collaborated with Deloitte to find funding. Alice's Kids, another local nonprofit that supports a lot of what we did. And we went to Men's Warehouse and got suits. There's no need to save people that already can save themselves. And the guys have been showing that throughout. So when we eventually had the event, we had over 100 participants, and the guys were speaking in front of, elected officials, like, they've known them for 10 years and, telling them what they need and not feeling ashamed, but feeling empowered through their suits to, voice their opinions and see the value in their leadership. So I think the community service is more about guiding them to their own success than trying to save them from whatever you think they might need saving from.
That's huge. They don't need a savior. They just need someone to guide them along the way and create the opportunities. Sharif, I'm going to turn it over to you because as a young person, I would like for you to speak to adults. How do we empower other adults to show up the right way for young people like you and your peers?
Like Anthony said, like a lot of the time, if you ask an adult for help with something or you let them know something, they're going to go and try to fix that problem for you. But I feel like if you just talk to me, you make me think about it a little bit, you give me a direction to think to go in, that just comes with trust from the adult to, let me make that decision for myself and be able to help me without, taking over.
Mel, I want to ask you, what do we tell other young people? How do we talk to people like Sharif and people like yourself that are listening today to think differently? What should they be doing to help form their own community or to be a part of one that exists?
One of the things that I've noticed a lot with me actually leading the meetings for the 1Brotherhood Club at Mount Vernon, that a lot of the time it is of mental health. It's a lot of stress or a lot of not feeling comfortable to speak freely around your peers. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to speak up. You can believe whatever you want. No one can stop you from saying what you believe as long as what you're believing, you believe it yourself. Don't just speak it out loud in a sense. Because when that one thought you had in your head that you might think, nobody's going to listen to me, nobody's going to help me with it, you never know. You speak out, you might find you a brotherhood, you might find you a group, you might find you an adult that's gonna come and they're gonna be like, okay, let's expand more on that. How do I help you? And then the adults just have to be open to give, like Ann said, not to save them. You don't have to give them everything. No, give them the resources they need and let them figure it out. Help guide them, show them the path, and let them walk that path.
Yeah. You all, this has been a great conversation. I learned a lot as an adult, and Anthony, hearing from you as a fellow adult, but even more so, I learned a lot from listening to you, Mel and Sharif, as younger people and empowering me to also think differently. You all, thank you so much for being part of this experience. Anthony, thank you for what you've done to create these opportunities for young people and showing up and building that trust. I think it's absolutely huge. And Mel and Sharif, as younger people, thanks for showing up as well. Thanks for setting an example for your peers and teaching us the value of creating the partnership with you all and giving you that voice. It has been an absolute pleasure today. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Yeah, it
having
was a
us.
pleasure. Thank you.
A huge thank you to the Virginia Foundation for Healthy Youth and Prevention Connections for their support. And thanks to Mauricio Reyes for creating that great music score. Don't forget to share this with others because the only way we can make real change is if we do it together. And hey, if you like today's conversation, go ahead and give us that 5-star review. Now go out there, everybody, go do good. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.